going on, guys? Welcome back to the home of Chrome. Today, we're getting rid of some German engineering. I have decided that with some changes that I've got coming up here with the home of Chrome, I'm going to need a new daily driver, and I plan on making this 1982 Rolls-Royce Silver Spur my daily. But in order to do that, I've got to get rid of some German engineering. So this is called the Bosch K-Jetronic fuel injection system. This is a mechanical fuel injection system that, when it is done exactly perfect by the people who knew what they were doing, it is a magnificent system to work with. However, this motor came out of a 1986 Silver Spirit, and I rebuilt that probably 3 times, and I am not one of those guys who knows what they're doing. So with that being said, they leak, they are very finicky when it comes to adjusting them. All such as that, they're very maintenance heavy type systems once they get up in age, and once you've had people in there that don't really know what they're doing. The other thing is I don't know if you guys remember or not, but here a few weeks ago, we tried starting it and it had a really loud knock. Okay, so I found out what the knock was. I got in here and I found that this car, even though the dipstick had oil on the stick, there was almost no oil in it. Weird, but whatever. We've got oil in it. The knock has gone away. Luckily, we didn't try to drive it like that or anything like that, so that's fine. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get rid of all of what you see here. Not so much this, but we're gonna get rid of a lot of this that's going on. And what we're going to do is over here in the motor that you just saw here in the opening, that one right there, we are going to take the intake off of that one with the dual carburetors, all such as that, and that's what we're going to put on this over the next few days. So really, we need to get in here and just get started, just taking things off. This is going to be a very maintenance heavy, there's going to be a lot going on. So originally I had planned on just pulling this motor and putting that motor in. However, looking at that motor, it's got a few little things that I would need to get fixed before I can put it in here. And I want to do this on as much of a budget as you can do a Rolls-Royce. So that is going to be pulling this off, like I said, pulling that off, putting that on here, and then using whatever I can. And the other thing that was the deciding factor and whether or not I was going to swap motors, the hydraulic system on that engine is different than this one, because if you remember, that engine came out of John Ross Lumber's from Watch GR Go. That came out of his 79 Silver Wraith 2, and they made a few changes to the hydraulic system from 1979 to 1982 when this car was built. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna swap the intake. We're gonna get rid of a lot of this electrical stuff because the car does start, but it will not idle. And I think a lot of that is to do with the electrical system in this car, and there's some things that aren't, they're not talking to each other anymore. Like, I've got the anti-run-on solenoid. That's a whole thing. You've got the fuel system. If it's not right, it's not going to push fuel. It's just, it's a whole thing. So let's get started. All right, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna start pulling all of this off. Maybe I don't have to pull the intake off. We're gonna find out here in just a second, because I've got to get this off here, and then there looks like there's one bolt that will hold that on. So let's see. Yeah, I know. Why are you using your all 16ths? Because it's here. That's really the reasoning behind that. All right, guys, so here's what we're dealing with so far. I've got the carburetor set up, removed, really easy. It's one bolt, okay, it goes in right here. I was hoping that I could probably just remove that and then remove the other stuff over here and only have to worry about this one thing, and then, yeah, no. Okay, so apparently they did change the intake. There's a lot of wet down in there. What is that? That's a lot of fuel. So yeah, anyway, you'll notice here there is no center bolt in that intake. Luckily, it looks like these three bolts are basically what holds a lot of this on. So that's what we're going to go with, and hopefully that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing all this, and I'll be back with you guys here in just a little bit. So what we've got here is we've got dual SU carbs, which SU stands for Stewart's Union. These were made in the UK. These were the carburetors to have. They came on everything from Rolls-Royce and Bentley to Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche, I do believe. So they are fairly high performance type carburetors. These are single barrel carbs. And just one more thing to check the oil on. So there is actually a requirement for motor oil to go inside the pots. So we're going to get this cleaned up. I really wish that I had access to a sandblaster, because I would blast this black paint off of here, clean these up really nice, because there's actually brass underneath these. So that is pretty freaking cool. Anyways, so that's gonna go on to, yeah, I know I'm walking around without shoes on, big deal. I better not find those on those websites. Anyway, so it's going to go on here. It's going to go on this manifold, intake manifold. And we got, this is a phenolic spacer. Also acts as a gasket. So that's cool. I was able to get this up without ruining the seals on here. So hopefully I can get that other one off over there the same way, and then we'll swap this out. But like I said, I haven't said it yet. I'll say it here in a minute in the intro. But I've got to go up to the Wizards on Friday. We're going to do a little trading as we usually do. He wants something weird. I have it weird. And then I'm going to get a tool from him to remove this forward pump on this motor and then one on that motor. So that way I can pull these off and swap it out. So the plan is that if this one here doesn't work, which I assume it will, if that one doesn't work anyway, there is a intake manifold out there for Rolls-Royce and Bentley that actually has a spread bore pattern on it, so I can put a Holley or Edelbrock carb on it. So that might also be a plan. So if that doesn't work, and then the other intake doesn't work, then I'm going to small block Chevy swap this, just because, number one, the car is not original. It hasn't been original for a long time. I'm not a purist. I don't care. I just want to drive the car. Yes, it's a Rolls-Royce. You take the motor out of it. Is it still a Rolls-Royce? I don't know. I don't care. I'm not up for a discussion on that. It doesn't matter to me. I didn't pay a lot for the car. I've put a lot of money into it. Then it went and sat. And now I'm redoing the car. And then I'm going to redo the car to the point where I can actually get in it, start it up, and drive it. Because I bought the car in 2018, reacquired it at the end of last year, and I think I've probably put maybe 60 miles on it in the 2 years that I've actually owned the vehicle. So yeah, it's high time that we do something to get her back on the road. Anyway, that's the plan. Carb setup goes on this goes on that. Car starts, we cruise out of here. There's some other stuff I'm going to get fixed, exhaust-wise, things like that. I got to get under there, get an oil leak fixed because, well, it's got a big oil leak. Anyway. All right. So back at it. All right, guys, so here's what we're dealing with so far. I've got the carburetor set up, removed. Really easy. It's one bolt. Okay, it goes in right here. I was hoping that I could probably just remove that and then remove the other stuff over here and only have to worry about this one thing, and then, yeah, no. Okay, so apparently they did change the intake. There's a lot of wet down in there. What is that? That's a lot of fuel. So, yeah. Anyway, you'll notice here there is no center bolt in that intake. Luckily, it looks like these three bolts are basically what holds a lot of this on. So that's what we're going to go with, and hopefully that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing all this, and I'll be back with you guys here in just a little bit. All right, so to give you guys an update of what we're doing, we've got the big air intake thing that sits right here. That is off. I'm in the process now of loosening up these fuel injector lines because, well, we obviously won't be using fuel injection anymore. And then the other manifold does not have the provisions for that. So, yeah. It's gonna take some doing here, but we're gonna get it done, I think. We'll see what happens. So of course I'm gonna take all this apart, forget how it goes back together, and then wind up small block swapping this. So anyway, this is where we are, trying to get all of this mess off. There's a lot to it. Nothing is easy to access because of all the lines and pipes and wires and tubes and hoses and all this other crap that they thought that they had to put on there to make this thing run. And yeah, so hopefully by putting on this carburetor setup, it'll be a lot less of this crap that I have to deal with. I'm really gonna clean this engine bay up a little bit. So now back at it. So yeah, freaking hurt myself doing a little pre-video work. So I've got to get these two lines off here, off this front hydraulic pump, and then I've got to get this snap ring off without breaking it. That's probably not going to happen. So I can spin this housing for this brake pump to take this manifold off. There's a lot of extra stuff in here that I've got to get rid of. I got to get rid of this tube here. Not 100% sure what that does. Not sure that I want to know. Because the Wraith doesn't have that. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, bear with me because there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on in here that I have to take off that I'm not 100% sure what it does, why it's there, what my purpose in life is. Anyway, yeah, back to it. There's a lot of wires going on under here. Again, not sure where a lot of this goes. This car does have an aftermarket HEI kit on it. It's an old one. It's an old design. It's a I guess Fireball. I don't know, Fireball. At some point, I will probably upgrade that. But it's got the ignition box is over here on this this wheel well, and then of course it's got the HEI stuff. But it actually works for an old one. It actually works really well. I'm not sure what year it would be or when it would have been put on. I do know that this is the second box that is on it. And I know that because I put this one, I had to replace it. A few years ago when I was doing the engine swap, I wasn't paying attention. So when I pulled the motor, pulled the wires with it. So had to go on a hunt for that, but we got it done. Hey, there's my hammer. We'll need you later. Put you there. Okay, where am I? Those got to come off. Where's my tools? Nope. Apparently she's still got a little pressure on her. We're starting to get some hydraulic fluid coming out, and it's green, which is great because that's what color it's supposed to be, and it's clear. So that's good. That is good. That means we don't have a whole lot of trash going on in our hydraulic system. That is the one bad thing about, I say bad. So the hydraulic system on this car is actually really cool. So you've got two hydraulic pumps. You've got one back here and you've got one here. So the one on the back does your braking system, okay? Now this car has, it has two calipers on each wheel on the front. And then it's got disc brakes in the back, and it's got one caliper on each side. But this thing she'll stop. Like, there's no question about it. But it's got a brake feel simulator in it that makes it feel like a normal car brake system. Which is really cool, because if it didn't, and you went to hit these brakes, you would think that you needed to put a lot of pressure into it, but that would be a mistake, because it will put you through the windscreen. But the front one here runs your rear suspension. And this thing just glides. The road in front of my house has got a lot of expansion joints in it. And you can go down that road in a normal car and you'll feel every one of them. But this one here, it just glides over it. It's really nice. Really nice. Whoa, hello. Just leave here where that's cool. Of course it's gonna do that. So I know we've been kind of slacking on the videos here the past couple weeks. There's just been a lot going on with work, stuff like that. But yeah, so I'm trying to get a couple videos out this week. I really owe it to you guys, especially those of you that have stuck around, and of course the new viewers. I do appreciate that, new subscribers. So yeah, Vampire Van's still sitting over there. I'm looking at it. I'm just I'm trying to get motivation going back on that. But like I said, I'm gonna try and make some changes to the fleet that I have, and I really want this Rolls-Royce to be part of the daily rotation if I can get it to that point. If not, if this doesn't work, then I'll just small block Chevy swap it. I happen to have a couple small block Chevys sitting around. So anyways, I think that's going to do it for today. I'm tired. It's hot. It's like 100 degrees outside. Air conditioner here in the shop's not really keeping up too well. But whew, we're going to keep going. So we'll see you guys on the next one. You guys take care. From the home of Chrome, thanks for subscribing. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a great week.